8 months later, $50 billion after, the town of Breezy Point was still buzzing with the volunteers, the Habitat for Humanity trucks, the cops, and the contractors. On my sixth Sandy cleanup trip, I spoke to the volunteers, the residents, and the volunteer coordinators. My first stop was at a house which was right after we crossed the Breezy Point checkpoint. After ripping out the damaged floors and on my way to the dumpster, I got a chance to talk to Uncle Pat, who was the in charge of the location.
2 to 3 weeks now.
Okay.
Okay.
And how has the situation improved? Do you see any improvements at all from the past, 6, 7 months?
Oh yes, greatly. The people are they're getting lively again. There's smiles on their face. Their houses are being put back up slowly but surely.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can get them all dancing in the street in a couple of weeks.
Nice. Now I see a lot of volunteers working here. Is it only during the weekends that the volunteers are there? Or how about the weekdays? What's the situation like during the weekdays?
Oh no, we have volunteers every day.
Every day?
They come in from all over the country. As I
see.
said yesterday, I had a girl from the Virgin Islands and a
Nice.
girl from Oklahoma.
Wow.
So that's two different sides of the spectrum. They're just coming from all over.
That's unbelievable. Now, in terms of the government support, how much do you think the federal agencies have been helping out? FEMA being one of the government agencies in terms of
Not enough.
not enough.
Not enough. These folks need help.
Okay.
And they're not afraid to put in the work hours themselves.
Right.
They just need the materials, some volunteers, and I work with a house with an 80-year-old man.
Yeah.
And as soon
That's
as the
tough.
material comes in, he was right, Johnny on the spot working. So
Nice.
that's what they need. They need materials and volunteers.
But at least, are you getting the money to buy those materials from the government, from FEMA, New York State?
That is a little bit out of my spectrum.
I see.
I don't
All
know.
right.
I know there's a lot of donations
Yeah.
from a lot of the tool companies
I
and
see.
stuff like that. Otherwise, that's a little beyond me. I'm just
All
a
right.
working guy.
Okay. Now, how about this work that you're doing at this location? What's the work involved here, right now?
Right now it's tearing up all the damaged wood in the house.
Uh-huh.
You look for the fungus growing up the walls.
Right.
If it's there, you tear it out. If it's not, you try not to tear down anything that doesn't have to be.
Right.
You don't want to tear up a good piece of flooring just because. You want to get everything set, take out the bed, put
Yeah.
in new, and get these people back in their homes.
Nice. And one last question before I let you go. I know you're real busy.
Yes.
How long do you think this house is going to take now where we are today with ripping out the floors?
Yes.
How long do you think it'll take for the owners to actually move back in completely?
We'll tear out the floors today, put on a subflooring, then the new flooring will have to go on.
Yeah.
If everything works right with the volunteers, they could probably be back using the house. Not totally, it won't be totally done, but
Yeah.
they can use it and be back in there in a couple of weeks.
All right. Thanks, Uncle Pat.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Right at that moment, the owner of the house walks in.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for being here.
Okay.
How can I help?
Well,
I
I'm
can
going to
get-
walk you through the house
Okay.
and show you what we have.
Okay, sounds good.
Not as bad as it seems.
Right, okay. Mold or something like that?
Now, the mold, you know where it is. You leave it alone, it's going to crawl.
Yeah, right.
This part, as you see, don't cut. This is fine.
Even where the wood sits on the joist?
While Pat was explaining, the owner, Sage, the chief coordinator, wanted me to go along with him to get some plywood for the floor. So, Sage, this is 9 months after the Sandy storm hit the Breezy Point. Now, and you have been here since day one. What made you, quit everything and work at this in Rockaway Beach and Breezy Point ever since? Because a lot of people got impacted, and I believe you stay close to Breezy Point, but you were not directly impacted by the Sandy storm. Is that right?
Yeah, that's very true. What happened is, I would say the whole credit goes to my wife because she's the one initiated me to do this. Her name is Keshri, and my father-in-law and mother-in-law, of course. Without them, I won't be able to do anything what I'm doing because I work from morning about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning till night, around 10, 11 every single day, 7 days a week. and now it stopped. And even doesn't matter how long I work and whatnot,
Right.
I feel like I never made a dent. So much of need in here, still lots of needs. The reason I would say I got involved in here more is because my house, not too far, about 20 miles from my house, from this Breezy Point and Rockaways here. We got all the storm and everything there, but not get. We didn't even lose electricity. You can say that.
Oh, wow.
We didn't lose electricity, gas. We didn't do nothing. Just we didn't even get any rain. It's just only wind and a little bit of damage in my roof.
Right.
Just the next day morning, me and my father-in-law went up, and when the wind slowed down, we fixed it up.
Right.
That's about it, and that's what made us feel more guilty and bad that we were watching the television. And people are crying and whatnot. And second day, I got a call and quit my job, what I was doing. And then I said, let me make a decision to come back here.
Wow.
And I didn't realize that there was a gas shortage. And I had a gas in my car, just a little less than a quarter tank of gas. And I just calculated and I said that, well, if I'm going to come in, I won't be able to make it back. So I don't even know what the situation is, because in the television they're showing water everywhere and garbage floating, boats floating, and
Yeah.
whole bunch of debris everywhere, and whole houses have been shifted off. I don't know what the devastation level is, so I don't even have an idea.
Yeah.
So, and my wife was crying and saying that we're not doing enough and we didn't do enough. I was in a state of shock. I don't know myself what I was doing myself.
Right.
So. And later, at one point, second day, I made a decision to say that I cannot sit home and not doing anything. I have to move. If I don't move, I won't even know what to do. So I made a decision to move, and I said second day night, I prepared myself, and third day morning, I started, and I said I don't have a car, I cannot use it. So I had a bicycle anyway. I thought, let me use the bicycle and ride here, and that's how I came in.
I see.
And when I came in, I saw the whole devastation, and I saw what happened. And then in between, I have to say that before I started in the morning, my wife woke up, and then she was crying the whole night.
Yeah.
On this thing, she couldn't take the sadness, what is happening. I was not crying, but I was sad inside. But I said to myself, well, I have to do something. And I started and came in here.
Right.
When I came in, then before I started, my wife wake up and she said, what I'm doing? I said, I'm going to go and see what to be done. And she asked me how I'm going. I said, I'm going to take my bicycle and go. And she said, she got up and she said, well, let me know what is going on. And she's all up and happy, that things happening.
Yeah.
And I started, and I came in and I saw what is happening. And then later, first thing I came in, I rode my bicycle. It was very hard. And when I came in, then I realized so much of devastation, whatnot. And in between, my wife went on the internet and found out in Facebook there are people are posting help needed, and she was giving me addresses that where the locations were. And first location I went in Broad Channel. Was the name of the place is American Legions. It's a nice place, and I went there and I saw the place was dark. And people were all over, and it's tough. People are crying, and it's a very tough moment. But still, went there inside, and I asked them what help they need. They said they need everything. I said, be specific, what exactly you need. And they said they don't have it. Like they have a generator. City police, they put a generator on the street, but they have an extension cord they ran, and it was too thin. They didn't have enough gauge in the wires so that they can run it got burnt out, and so they said they need a good extension cords, and they need batteries, they need hot food and whatnot. And so I called my wife and I said, get me a couple of thousands of AA batteries, couple of thousands of AAA batteries, and get me extension cord this much length, get me 1,000 feet of these and that, whatever needed, all the stuff there, and also make food arrangements. And good thing is I'm also with the Satisai organization, and we do a lot of cooking and feeding people homeless and a whole bunch of others. And this is a regular project, so we have so many people involved in this cooking project. So it made us easy to make the cooking, and we said we're going to cook for 1,000 people. Cooking for 1,000 people is like a piece of cake for us, and walk in the park. What we got to do is we have a whole bunch of people there who are involved in our homeless feeding project.
Right.
We got to call every one of them in the morning and tell them just cook for about 40 people, 50 people. 2 trays of food, big deep trays. It's easy for them. And 20, 30 of them cook in, and that's it. We already got all the supplies which we do regularly, so we have all the cups and plates and stuff.
I see.
So in no time we got 1,000 people food in less than an hour and a half.
Wow. So
Food.
you started doing that straight
Yeah,
away.
yeah, food. And I was not doing anything actually. I was
Yeah.
giving only the information, passing on to my wife, and my wife immediately called my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law living not too far from my house, and they called me. He had a full tank of gas in his SUV, and he immediately went there with my wife and took my credit card and bought all the stuff what we need to buy it in Home Depot, and all the supplies, and food was coming on the way in between, and we coordinated. In between, I was going inside the Rockaways, and now I finished one location and going to the next location and going to Rockaways there, and I saw so much of devastation. Still a lot of water on the streets, sand piled up so high, and
So this is day 3 after Sandy.
day 3 after Sandy.
Right.
And I'm seeing people walking like a zombie. Like, they're not even thinking. They're not even thinking, and they're just, it's like they're in a shock,
Yeah.
And a lot of them just crying, sitting outside the house and just crying,
Yeah.
I can still remember that. It's not easy,
Yeah. I
but
can imagine.
it's not easy. It's good, it's good, but a lot of good people came out to help. And first, when I was walking there with my bicycle, I couldn't ride my bicycle because garbage everywhere and all metal and everything everywhere. I barely able to walk, and a lot of times I have to lift my bicycle in my shoulder and carry it. And Army was here, and FEMA was here, but FEMA was not involved in any cleanup or anything. Army was involved in cleanup, but they are dropped in the ocean. There's so much of devastation, so wide. I don't think anybody can comprehend the level of devastation.
Right.
And when this thing happened, when I was walking on the street, I saw a mother and the daughter. Mother probably in her mid to late 70s, and daughter probably in her mid to maybe earlier, later mid 50s. They both were fighting each other, holding hands, and literally shaking each other, and they were angry at each other. And I was walking by, and I went there and I stopped them, and I said, can I help you with anything? And then both of them hugged me and start crying. And just I took them and I just was holding them. And later at one point, they said they need help. And she was telling me, daughter was telling me that mother is trying to go and lift the couch inside the living room. Is so heavy, is all soaked in water, still, about foot water inside, 1 feet water inside the house and a lot of sand.
Right.
And she said she need help. She wants to lift it, and I'm telling her not to do it. She's already hurt her back and all this stuff.
Wow. Yeah. So there was the level of destruction. I think was more not just in terms of the material destruction, but the nature
Emotional
destruction
because
it caused, and
Yep.
chaos it caused in the regular way of living itself.
Yep.
And if we can get down and keep talking. So says I see we are in front of the U.S. Army base. Is this?
Yeah, this is one of the habitats what do you call that? This is our warehouse. This is a U.S. Army base, Fort Tilden.
I see.
Yeah, and Army was, big enough, and they are very nice with us, and they gave this place.
So this was fully operational before Sandy hit?
No,
Oh,
it was
okay,
not fully
okay.
operational. And FEMA had their office. They put their one of the command center here, and
see.
we took the back. We have a huge warehouse there, and they gave us the warehouse for all our things to move in and move out.
I see.
Initially, we did store all the food and other supplies in here,
okay.
and we set our command center in Breezy Point with Habitat. I was not with Habitat at that time.
I see.
I was in Rockaways by myself.
Right.
And later we had so many other volunteers, others joined us also.
Yeah. So this material is donated by the government or the...
We buy it.
or we buy it? But who gives the money?
Habitat family, what happens is we don't have Habitat mostly donations. General, anybody, homeowners sometimes, what they have something they donated.
I see.
Our volunteers come in and
So
donate
this is
it.
not government money at all?
No, it's not anything to do with the government money. Whatever we have there, it's all completely funded by Habitat, and which is through volunteers and corporations. Like today, we have Cornell University there, and we have a whole bunch of other volunteers in there. They also volunteer, and they also bring in some food, and they bring in some. Sometimes they write in checks to Habitat to help the homeowners,
Right.
and sometimes they sponsor also.
I see.
Yeah.
We then moved to a new location at Rockaway Beach. I met Jeffrey, an organic farmer who was setting up a community garden. So Jeffrey, what is this about here? What are we doing here?
So this is pretty much where we had a farm right across on the other side, and Sandy pretty much destroyed everything.
I see.
So now we're just rebuilding, and we're doing it here because where we used to have the farm on the other side, we're gonna replace it with greenhouses.
Oh, I see.
In the meantime, this is our raised beds operation.
So is this place supposed to be maintained by the community, or is it going to be maintained by the church, or how is
It's
it
gonna be
going to
maintained
work?
by the church. It's all part of a food pantry that the church run.
I see.
The church feeds 300 families in the community.
Okay.
And so these veggies here are going to be part of the food pantry to give away to the
I
to
see.
the-
So
to
what
the-
kind of veggies are you going to grow here?
The three main ones: tomatoes, sweet peppers, and cucumbers. But we also have kale, chives, parsley, some watermelon, a little bit of other things.
I see. So it's like the water and whatever fertilizers do we need, and everything is taken care of for
Yeah,
this. And
actually, I do not use any fertilizers here.
Okay.
It's all compost. Actually, this
Oh, good.
compost is coming from the botanical gardens.
I see.
And
It's
then
all organic.
all organic,
Nice.
and I have a drip irrigation system.
Where?
So I'm actually gonna
Oh,
set up
okay,
the
I
irrigation
see,
system
I
right
see.
now.
I
So
see.
it waters itself pretty
Oh,
much.
nice.
Yeah.
So do you also? What about the rainwater? Do you plan to harvest the rainwater somewhere, store it somewhere? Is that
Yes,
also part of the
yes,
plan?
that's part of the plan. Because once we get the two greenhouses on the other side,
I see.
I'm gonna set up a rain catchment system at the back of this house here.
I see.
So to be able to collect all the rainwater to go underground in a tank,
Yeah.
and we can use that as we need.
I see. And one last question before I let you go. I know it's hot out here, but where you get the funding for this? Like, how do you get the money for this?
Funding,
Is it-
man, that's a good question, man. Funding from everywhere, actually, just add up the dollars wherever they come from.
I see.
Some church members, some from City Harvest, just all over the place. All kinds of organizations give 100 here, 100 there, 500 there, whatever it is.
I see. I see.
We just make it happen, and whatever we're missing, then pretty much the church supply the rest of it.
I see.
you know.
I see.
Yeah.
Now, Sandy, it's been what now 9 months since
Yep.
Sandy struck.
Mhm.
Right? How is the community coming along? Do you see people moving back and living here? Going back their normal way of living? Or-
For the most part, I would say people are back. And
Yeah.
there's a handful of people, 2%, 5%, whatever it is,
Right.
and that's not scientific. But a small percentage that left and will not come back
Yeah.
for various reasons.
Right, right.
But for the most part,
They're
people
back.
people are back.
Right. Now, this place, was it as worse as Breezy Point, or this was not?
Oh
bad?
yeah, I mean, there was 6 feet of water on the farm,
Oh wow.
6 feet of salt water
That-
on the
that's
farm
lot,
here.
Yeah, yeah. That's a
So
lot.
you know, this was all covered completely.
I see.
You know, we got hit. Breezy Point got hit from one side, but we got hit. The bay water and the beach water came and met right here.
Oh, wow.
So you know, I would say it was probably as bad as Breezy Point.
I see. All
Except
right.
Breezy Point had the fire and we didn't.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
from that perspective, Breezy Point was worse.
All right. Okay. All right. Keep up the good work, Jeffrey.
Thank you so much. All right.
So, Sesh, what happened to the $50 billion that was announced by the government and as a Sandy relief aid?
It's not reached yet. It's there somewhere. I'm not sure where, but probably it will come to people at some point. They're still working on so much other things there. I don't know.
I see.
I don't see that money has come here yet.
I see. So this is all donations and NGOs and.
Yeah, donations, so far donations and NGOs, and city has come up with some programs called Rapid Repair Program. They did a great job. They brought in a lot of electricity and plumbing and other stuff
I
there, hot water heater and stuff. They did, Mayor Bloomberg brought in and did that.
I see.
And he did a wonderful job. They had few flaws here and there with the program like any other stuff, but overall he did a great job.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I have arthritis, so it's hard to get up.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
God. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm going to the doctors to see if they can get rid of this. I
Yeah.
can't even walk sometimes.
I was talking to Sesh about all the Sandy work he has been involved with,
Yeah.
and he told me about how you had to go through a very difficult time.
Oh God.
How
Yeah.
are things
The
now?
hardest part, you know, because material stuff that can be replaced.
Right.
But the hardest thing is losing 2 parents in 5 months.
Oh,
That
I'm so sorry to
that
hear
hurts. You know, that hurts. My father died because of stupid Sandy. That was
Really?
Yeah.
What happened?
He froze. We didn't have enough heat, so he had a
How old
pneumonia and a
was he?
stroke. 79, and
Oh.
he died. He was on a life machine for 2 weeks. And then my mother last month died because she couldn't take it anymore. You know, she had heart
Because of all
problems.
the emotional trauma?
Yeah, emotional trauma made it that she didn't want to fight anymore. So every day she was like, "I want to die. I want to die." She died.
Oh, I'm so
She
sorry to hear
died.
that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry to hear that.
I know. It. You know, it's just that's the hardest part.
Right.
Because it's like God usually doesn't allow that, you know, lose 2 parents so
Same
close
time,
together.
Yeah.
And
You have any other family that you're living
I
with?
have brothers, but they're not living. They don't live with me. My
I
brothers,
see.
one is Pennsylvania, the other one he doesn't get involved with the family.
I
But I
see.
got my kids. I got 3 kids,
That's good.
so I have to try to,
Balance it out.
try to,
Right.
make it work.
Right.
But you're working today, Seth. You're working today.
I'm working today.
Yeah. You're working on Saturday.
On Saturday?
You work Saturdays.
I work Saturdays.
Yeah. You're working Saturdays.
Sesh is always here.
I'm 7 days a week. I'm here.
Wow.
I didn't take a day off yet from Sandy.
You need to take a day off. You need
No.
to take the wife somewhere,
I know.
dinner, take her to dinner,
We
something.
have an agreement so far.
I know. You're a good man. You're a good man. And she's a good woman because I would have been like, wait a minute. Give me one day. I'm going to take this.
People are killing themselves. I know several suicides happened in this whole area here. I know them personally myself. You know, I worked in their homes and whatnot. They tried with insurance companies and they couldn't take it. And they tried with FEMA and they couldn't take it. And at last, they couldn't handle it anymore. They killed themselves. and drugs are in the rise. And people who used to drink occasional beer here and there, they become alcoholic now. You know, I've seen so many families going through this situation. Children are going into drugs. So we are doing so many programs here, including community garden and so many ways we can keep themselves engaged. And as well as people like you guys come in here to go inside and deal with them directly and talk to them and, you know, make some changes there to show them and give confidence that there are people, good people out there, and they are looking forward for them, you know. So that's another reason. There's it's called Battalion Church in 67th.
So, all right, so in terms of how the recovery has been, the progress of the recovery has been going on. I know it's been 8-9 months now, and there are so many houses that got destroyed.
Yeah.
But if you were to give a rough estimate of or a picture to any outsider, how do you think the situation is right now?
Situation, it's not that great actually. It's not very encouraging. It's a lot of people trying to help. I would say government and the responsible, companies like insurance companies and others never stepped up to the extent what they're supposed to do. A lot of people, I've seen their homeowners, they have insurance, they constantly have issues. Insurance company don't have no ethics at all.
I see.
I see that openly because people have flood insurance, they have homeowner insurance, you name it, they have all the insurance, but they still don't have the stuff what they are supposed to get.
So what seems to be the problem with the insurance? Is it like the paperwork or the terminology?
No, not the paperwork. It's just a simple denial.
Oh, I see.
Simple denial. That's it. They don't want to pay, and they are refusing to take what they are supposed to do. They are not responsible. Simple.
I see.
They are not. And if they are responsible, and they would have stepped up, and we would have all the problems, most of the problems at least, would have been solved.
Right.
And people are just delayed, and people don't do that, and they give all kinds of excuses. I've seen the paperwork.
Yeah.
I'm not just talking, hearing somebody and whatnot.
Yeah,
I've seen the paperwork of hundreds of homeowners, not 5, 10, we are not talking about
I see.
here. Thousands have been affected here.
Right.
So many of them, they have a perfect, paperwork. Some of them even have to take a lawyer to go it, and then they get some money out better than
I see.
what they are supposed to do.
I see.
What does that mean? What it says, The same thing, they have to get an insurance adjusters,
Right.
private adjusters to come in to get a little more money than what they are supposed to get. It's all, it's very difficult to explain. It shouldn't be this way. This is not a third world country.
Yeah.
It's not proud to say that we are living in a capitalist country and going through this hardship here.
Right.
People should not go through this kind of situation.
Now, does the state know that this is happening with the insurance companies? Do they acknowledge
Of
these
course, they
challenges?
know this. They know this, and they acknowledge this, and they try also. I've seen governor's office trying so hard to get to do something there, and I'm seeing other government offices are doing, but I don't see much of an effect
On the insurance
happening.
companies itself.
It's same thing what we have gone through before.
Right.
Same thing with the banking crisis. Same thing.
Right,
We give money to the banks, and they are not responsible enough even to come and say that how they spend the money.
I see.
It's the taxpayers' money one way or other.
So would it be fair to say that the majority of the recovery that's being happening here is left to the volunteers coordinating all these efforts?
You can say, it says simple in the U.S. Constitution. It says a very basic thing: by the people, for the people, not by the companies or not by the corporations or not by others.
Right.
Just the people have been affected by the people. Volunteers come in here, and for the people, homeowners getting what the best they can get from the volunteers.
I see.
That's
I
what's
see.
happening here. Government is definitely trying, but you cannot blame the government because they have a limitation. They have a limitation, but they are doing through that. They are doing their best from their side, but they can still do more. A lot of bureaucracy and whole bunch of issues there, and they refuse to understand what the crisis level is.
Right.
You know, somebody need to come here and see. People are literally dying.
Right.
People are killing themselves. You know,
Right.
these are elderly, women, children, single mother, single woman,
So it
elderly,
looks like not
sick
only
people
the
here. Lot of them, they have so much mental, mental agony, and
Right,
they have so
right.
much of medical issues physically.
Right.
You know, so much problem. What they are asking, homeowners are asking not anything. Give me a luxury apartment. Are asking me, build something, a mansion or anything. They're asking just basic living. You know,
Right.
shelter. That's their home. Just they want to fix up and they want to move in.
Right.
And these are not somebody, they're not asking for handout. These are homeowners. They paid the taxes and they did their dues, whatever they have to do. You know, they are responsible, respectful people. And they are like you and me.
Right. Right.
Homeownership is the backbone of any country in the world, you know. So if we don't address this issue seriously, and this is going to be a major problem to see further on.
Now, where are these people living right now? Do they are they staying in the hotel accommodation that the government offered?
It's difficult to say. I don't want to even go that far and say, you know, it's a government did whatever the best they can.
Yeah.
And but it's a lot of issues there in that side, and still whole bunch of problems here. You know, it's here in U.S. they are not what do you call? A lot of families they are not tight network here, and they live by themselves, and they don't have family members. They don't have any relatives they can go and live on, and they don't have the funding. Just they don't have the bank balance to go and stay on their own. You know?
Right.
And a lot of people who have been affected, I've seen, is a lot of women and children and elderly. These are the ones who go through a very hard time.
And they are all living by themselves, and that's part of the
Yes,
problem.
I know several families I worked with, and I know they died too. They died. Some of them took their own life. You know, they couldn't take it.
Yeah, I was talking to Veronica at the U.S. Army
Yes,
camp. She
yes.
said she lost both her parents in the
Yes.
span of 5 months.
Yep. You know what is their Veronica situation is?
Yeah.
A couple married for 52 years. You
Wow.
know, 52 years. Father and mother, they married each other 52 years, and they lived together in one place. Very nice family. And after storm, there's no electricity, no water, no gas, no heating. And that person, father, he frozen to death. No heat, he froze, he died. And mother couldn't take, he saw the death and she couldn't take it. And what happened? And she cried and cried and cried, and she died. It's not an easy thing, you know. It's not easy. And we can definitely, as a nation, we can pull in together and we can do much better. And we can let these people, if there's anything we can bring in all, it's just some basic decency, you know, just give them some peaceful life, you know.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Sesh, and keep up the great work that you have been doing, and keep inspiring people to join you and support you, and hopefully, all volunteer efforts and other people also come together to, get things back to normalcy.
It will come back to normalcy. Thank you, Suresh. I really appreciate it. I know you come by yourself, and you brought in so many friends to volunteer in the Rockaways right from the beginning. You travel all the way from so many miles, and you come in here, and I see when you guys come in here, it's an inspiration for me. Not just for me. I'm here 7 days a week. People always ask me how I get my energy. I tell them simple and straight. It's nothing me at all, you know. Volunteers who come in here, they are the one bringing the smile, and they are the one making the days every day and night, brighter, and they bring in happiness to the family members. And when they see volunteers coming in, I can see the smile in the families there. They feel like they are welcoming people like their own family,
Right.
They see that somebody there, to care for them. That's very nice of you, Suresh. Keep up the good work and spread the word. We need more and more help. Any help, anybody, any help they can do, highly appreciated.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Saish.
Friends, NRI Samay is a non-profit independent alternate media from Los Angeles, USA, which brings positive stories from